Sweet Caroline.
Hi everybody and welcome back to my vlog, Sweet Caroline RD2B. Today we are in Publix in the bread aisle. If you haven't watched episode 1 yet, go back and tune in. Episode 1 was a grocery store tour at Trader Joe's, but today we're just going to specifically be talking about bread. So I pulled a few different breads already from the bread shelf, and I'm just going to go over and review the different labels and what to look for, because the bread aisle can be kind of confusing. So we're just going to hit on a few quick topics really quick. So to start off, I have this Nature's Own white wheat, healthy white. And so now we're going to look at the nutrition label here. So as you can see, this has 4 grams of dietary fiber per every 2 slices. So that means that in one slice there's 2 grams of dietary fiber. We're really looking for 3 grams of fiber per every 1 slice. Also, if we zoom back into our nutrition label, this has 220 milligrams of sodium per every 2 slices, which is still pretty good. So we want to be below 200 per every 1 slice, so it meets the requirements for sodium but not for our fiber content. Also, zooming back in on the ingredients, this is something you really want to look at when you're looking at your bread label. So it says unbleached enriched flour. So that is your white flour. So when we're picking our bread, we really want to choose our whole grain and whole wheat, and we will show some examples of that in a minute. But that is really crucial. So the My Plate guideline says that we need to have at least half of our grains whole grains. And we also need to be consuming about 25 grams of fiber daily. So this is a really great way to get your fiber in and get your whole grains in. Okay, so this was bread number 1. I'm going to show you bread number 2. So this is just enriched bread, which means white bread. So let's look at this label. So here we have 0 grams of fiber for every 1 slice. So right there, that's a huge red flag. It does meet our sodium requirements, but it has no grams of daily dietary fiber. So this automatically is no, but we would expect that in a white bread. So this is something typically we would see in our white bread. Okay, next I want to pull this bread. This is Nature Own's honey wheat. And this is a little bit deceiving because it has the word wheat in it. So you would think that this would be whole wheat bread, but actually looking at our label, it's unbleached enriched flour, which means that it's white bread. So they add a little bit of wheat flour in there, but this is mostly going to be white bread still. So we can also look at the dietary fiber. It's less than 1 gram per every slice. So this is actually pretty close in nutritional content to the white bread that we just looked at, because it has no dietary fiber in it. Now you might think, well, it looks kind of brown. It looks more brown than the white bread. If you were to open it up, some of you guys might buy this, and that's because of food coloring. So if you look on the label, you might see molasses. A lot of food manufacturers will put molasses or caramel coloring in the bread to make it have that brown look, to make you think that you're buying wheat bread. So that's marketing at its finest. So let's compare this honey wheat to this one by Pepperidge Farm, and this is honey wheat whole grain. So looking at the nutrition labels, nutrition facts here, whole wheat flour is the #1 ingredient. So that's really what we're looking for in our bread when we're choosing our bread and selecting that whole wheat flour. So because this is honey wheat, this is a better option than our Nature's grain, or Nature Own, sorry, Nature Own. And this has, for every 1 slice, 3 grams of dietary fiber. So this is perfect. This is a really great bread choice when you're looking down the bread aisle, because it hits our dietary fiber needs. It also only has 125 milligrams of sodium per slice, so it meets that requirement as well. And the #1 ingredient is whole wheat flour, but it still has a little bit of honey in it to give you that sweet flavor if you like that in your bread. So this is a really great option. This is actually the bread that I buy. I really like it a lot. Next, so looking at this one, this is also from Pepperidge Farm. This is their very thin sliced 100% whole wheat bread. And so if we look at the label here, This is for 3 slices, we get 3 grams of dietary fiber, just because the slices are thinner. So that's something that's important to note when you are looking at the bread. And this is considerably smaller than a loaf of this size, as you can tell. This bread is a lot more thicker than this. These are little slices. So I wouldn't necessarily discount this bread, but you will have to eat more slices in order to hit your fiber requirements. But I still think overall this is a great bread. For every 3 slices, it only has 180 milligrams of sodium, which is also pretty good. And the number 1 ingredient is whole wheat flour. So again, those are the 3 things that we're really looking at when we're looking at our bread choices. The number 1 ingredient being whole wheat flour, dietary fiber, 3 grams per slice if you can, and then less than 200 milligrams of sodium per slice. Those things are really important. I also want to touch on really quick, so going back to the Nature's Own honey wheat, you will see products that will say made with wheat or made with whole grain, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it is 100% whole wheat or 100% whole grain. So it's really important to be reading the labels and looking for the first ingredient to say 100% whole wheat, 100% whole grain, instead of unbleached or enriched flour. Okay, thank you guys so much for tuning in to this week's episode. It's a short one, but I just kind of wanted to hit on a few things to make the bread aisle a little less confusing, a little less intimidating. The last thing I will mention is that this also applies to other bread products. So bagels, English muffins, tortillas, crackers, and other aisles, things like that you're also shopping for, these same rules can apply. So making sure that it's 100% whole wheat, that you're looking for the first ingredient on the label, that you're looking for the amount of dietary fiber. If you're calorie conscious, that's another thing that you can look for, but really just hitting on the dietary fiber. That's super important, and making sure that you're actually getting whole grain and whole wheat, and not being confused by marketing tactics. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.